Tell me how long you've been involved in RLP and tell me what your role is at RLP right now.
So my name's Jamie Lee and I've been engaging with RLP for under a year, and right now what I do with RLP is I manage the CraftyKids project.
My name's Matthew. I've been with RLP just about 7 months. I'm the production line assistant and step-in supervisor for the CraftyKids project.
Matt and I are engaged to be married.
We've been together 4 years, so...
How long have we been together?
4 years.
And just checking.
Aye. Aye, right. We can't forget that sort of thing.
So before lockdown, I was engaging in the Hard Edges project. I had done, I think it was 2 workshops with Shamila and a couple of other women.
I wasn't really doing anything at all. The CraftyKids project came up and the first thing Jamie done was fling a box at me and say, "Can you build that?" And I went, "Well, I'll try," and built it, and then that was sort of me.
Because I think at the start of lockdown I struggled really bad. I struggled with my mental health, and I was used to going to recovery cafes 6 to 7 days a week, and when lockdown hit I had nothing. I had absolutely nothing to engage in. When the CraftyKids project was mentioned, I was really keen to be involved, and it involved working remotely from home, and I didn't realise how much of an impact that would have living in a 1-bedroom house and having Matt move in with me as my carer to kind of help me control my emotions and my behaviours and things during this really difficult time. So you really didn't have a choice.
No, I really didn't.
It was
at the same time, right at the start of lockdown, I wasn't able to see my son at all. So that was about 5 months of no seeing him. I had to put my mind somewhere. So that's why I just jumped right in and helped Jamie when all the stuff was put into the house. Because it gave me something to do rather than just sitting about and probably eating and sleeping all day.
So it started with a Zoom group call where ideas were flung around how we could help our local community in Clipmanshire, people who didn't have access to craft supplies, people living in poverty who were used to their children being at school 5 days a week, and how they were going to entertain all these children who were now in lockdown and not allowed to go out and play and not allowed to go to school. And then within a week we can introduce you to this, and you seemed really keen.
I seemed really keen, like being a dad, that sort of put it into perspective. Like there's probably, don't know, there's thousands, millions of people that don't have access to anything. So it was a great thing to be a part of, and put my head down and just started getting straight to work.
Initially at the very start, working from home was pretty difficult.
The living room was just all boxes when we had them all finished.
Our neighbours thought we were moving because there was boxes piled up at our windows and that. And moving, I think as well, there was a lot of anxiety, and that came with moving into a workspace. Because of lockdown, we didn't know about social distancing and PPE and all that. Like when you're working in the house and it's just you and your partner and the people within your household, you didn't realise that you need all these things in place. So for me, I was kind of struck a bit with anxiety, but once we got it down, we worked really well, and the wee team that we've got and the space that we had, we were able to socially distance. PPE was always provided, and you quickly got into the habit of this is how we work, and the reason that we're doing it was what kept us going, I think, at times when
we really did.
Got frustrated.
Like the first 2 weeks of lockdown, we didn't know what we were doing. Like shops were closed, we couldn't go anywhere, couldn't see anybody, so we were just stuck in the house and we didn't know what to do. So it really did give us something to do, and keep our minds occupied and get us out of the house rather than being stuck in the house not knowing what we could do at all. It's been great just having it, just for something to do, like to get us out and working, really. When
you say working as well, I hadn't worked for over 6 years. We started volunteering with the CraftyKids project. We were awarded some funding. 4 years we were able to be employed, and for me personally it really boosted my confidence, knowing that I was employable and that I had this purpose.
It's the same with me. It was my first job in 4 years. I just came out of regression therapy as well, so it's just been great, really.
In the beginning I didn't realise that I had kind of like subconsciously taken lead on a lot of things and taken a wee bit of control. So I now find myself managing the project and working under Mel and Shamila and making sure the orders are fulfilled and making sure that our team run really well as well. And communication's key with that. I mean, the 4 years that work within the shop, we're all really open with each other and honest with each other.
Every one of us has got something different that we can bring. It's a fantastic team we've got, so Aye, yeah.
To date, we've made over 2,600 boxes. Craft, self-care, we had some OAP boxes, but right now we focus mainly on craft and self-care.
A lot of people have been able to get stuff that they might not be able to afford or get readily available to them wherever they are. The kids were loving the craft boxes. Like, we've seen videos of them and photos of kids using the stuff that we're giving them, so I think it's been a huge impact on everybody that's getting them, and it's really rewarding seeing it too. It's impacting us because we're getting to see the result of what we're doing, so it's really rewarding just being able to see that.
You make up the majority of the craft supply, so I'll let you wire in with that.
We colouring books or word searches depending on the age, crayons or colour pencils, dream catchers, stained glass art sort of things, jointed people, glue, sticky eyes, big cardboard cutouts of people, cards and envelopes, just a whole lot of stuff. There's a wide variety of stuff that they can do with it.
The self-care is mainly toiletry products along with some trauma-informed booklet that isn't about a specific trauma. It's more generalised, so it can be adapted to anybody who's reading it. Word searches and puzzle books, sanitary products, things that help people look after themselves during the pandemic. Being able to wash and clean themselves and take a wee bit of pride in their appearance, I think.
Either of you could have given yourself some advice when this all began. What would that advice be?
For me personally, it would have been to believe in myself a wee bit more, believe that I'm capable of doing things, because I doubt myself an awful lot, and to just breathe and be calm and accept what's happening, because I think during COVID and lockdown especially, it's hard to accept what's going on around about us, but we haven't really got a choice. Channel all the feelings and anxieties into something which I was able to do through the CraftyKids project.
I think with me, it's just I've shown myself that I'm capable. Back then I was a nervous wreck, so in my head all the time going, no, I can't do that, can't do that, can't do that, but now I've shown myself I can, so I just get myself tilt really. I've started on West Lothian College in Livingston doing an HNC in cyber security. It's a lot of information for the first 3 weeks. It's really, really interesting, the stuff I'm doing. I
started the access to degree studies at Stirling University. While at school I had the potential to go to university, but I chose a different path, and that wasn't the way. And now at 32 I've got the opportunity to go back and possibly study a degree next year, and I'm finding it really interesting. But due to COVID, I'm not able to meet anybody face to face, any lecturers or any of my classmates. It's all online through Microsoft Teams, which can be quite challenging at times, and it's a lot of online learning. I'm really enjoying it. I struggle with the amount of freedom I've got. It's so much different from the last time I was in education, which was only at high school, where there was a lot of structure. I'm finding it quite difficult to get my head round about that I can think for myself and do things for myself, but my engagement with RLP really helps me with that, because I'm learning that people want to hear my opinions and my ideas as they want to hear other people's.
And last question is, would you like to see the boxes stay in production even after lockdown?
I certainly would, selfishly for our own employment, but also also to help people in our local community out with. Like, when we first came up with the idea for CraftyKids, it was solely going to be in Clickmannanshire, and it's grew arms and legs, and it's went out to all different communities within Scotland, and I would hate for it to stop. There's so many organisations that could benefit for craft and self-care boxes, and so many children and young people, and people leaving prison, people with mental health issues. I think at the beginning I naively thought it was going to be just for children. I realise now, 7 months down the line, that a lot of people can benefit from what's in these boxes.
I definitely want to see them keep going, just because of how many we've made. There's clearly a demand for them, or a want for them, especially now that we're helping people coming out of prison with them. I think it should keep going, regardless, because it has helped a lot of people through the lockdown and once the restrictions have been lifted. So I think it would be fantastic if it kept going. Thank you.